Every light was a target. Every sound was a reminder you were still alive. And in that darkness, one man decided to move. Today, we step beyond borders, not just the lines nations draw, but the walls fear builds within us. When a 15-year-old boy was trapped in Kyiv at the start of a war, a veteran operative heard a father's plea from Maryland and a mother's courage in Kyiv and chose to cross the line. This isn't a story about politics, it's about humanity. It's about a decision made in faith under fire for one purpose: save a life. Our guest spent decades serving in silence. Navy hospital corpsman attached to the Marines, Secret Service canine handler on the emergency response team, and CIA counterintelligence and counterterrorism operator with over 1,500 days deployed. But the mission that rebuilt his soul wasn't classified. It was personal. Please welcome Tony Sabio. Tony.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, thank you so much for coming
Thank
to
you
the
for
Raz
having
Patel
me
show.
here.
Of course. You know, Tony, there's so many people who talk about saving one's life and doing amazing things and supporting, but you went over and beyond when nobody else could or wouldn't or shouldn't or never thought that it was possible, and you made it happen. I had the pleasure to read your book that's about to be published in December.
Yes.
So thank you for allowing me and trusting in me to read that. I really appreciate that. And it's called Beyond Rock Bottom.
Yes.
And it's called A True Story, if I may, a true story of transformation and a life-changing mission. So before we go dive into the pages of this book and draw in who you are and what has happened, take us to the moment when you got the first call about a boy named Timur.
You know, the call was surreal. You know, I'm sitting here at home, and I'm talking already with my colleagues about trying to find a way to get this boy out, and obviously our company wasn't set up to do this.
Okay.
And we kept hitting walls. And then finally something came in when he said, we got to get him out. And I said, okay, I'll do it. I'll go over there. And it wasn't, sometimes you get in a moment of things and it's like, okay, you got to jump in and do it. But the true moment where I realized this is something that I need to do was when the father gave me a call.
Right.
And the despair in his voice. And it reminded me of my kids. And in the mountains, I would move myself to get my kid, to save my children. And him saying, Tony, thank you for doing this, and I'll go with you. And I said, well, you know, let me just take care of this. Not having an idea how I was going to do this, but knowing that in this moment in time, I have the skills, the knowledge, and I have to do something. And so it was a leap of faith going forth, and the most amazing things happened that even every obstacle I ran into, we found doors that reopened.
Wow.
And the mission kept going. And I could tell you, you know, in the book, it talks about so many obstacles, and I couldn't put everything in there.
Right.
But so many obstacles I ran into, but somehow I felt something guiding me, that no matter what, keep pushing through, it will work out, and everything's going to be all right.
Yeah, impressive. And take us I think it's called Inside the Living Room, Kyiv, and what did you hear, feel, and sense as soon as you landed?
So, you know, as soon as I landed in Bucharest, in Romania.
Okay.
And during this time, you know, I haven't slept. I was on the phone trying to create a network of people, just trying to get basic intelligence.
Right.
Things typically, if I was doing an operation at an agency, I would already have.
Right.
But trying to build this while on the flight and vet certain people. When I landed, it was mission focused. And it really didn't start hitting me of the weight of everything until I got to the border of Surrett. And then that's where I saw lines of people that have fled across the border, food lines, American Red Cross passing blankets out, medical. That is where it really hit me, that the impact of what's happening.
Right. It was
And
surreal.
It was completely surreal. And then seeing a border where cars are trying to come into Romania from Ukraine, but no cars going in.
Yeah.
And it was
Except for you.
literally a ghost town. When I walked across, I was walking through where all the cars are supposed to be going, and it was just me with my backpack walking by myself in the road going towards.
And you didn't have the fear. Or what did you think when you were crossing that border? Because, like you said, it's a ghost town, and you are finding yourself alone in this
Yeah.
path.
Well, I can tell you, so one of my friends that work in intelligence open source,
Right.
Steven, he contacts me and gives me some real credible intel that the Russians are coming down from Belarus and Odessa, and they're going to cut off Kyiv, and they're bringing tanks that have missile launchers on it to bombard the town of or the city of Kiev. And he's saying, if you're going to do anything, you got to do it now. And at this point, I didn't have a plan.
Right.
The plan I actually had in place fell through because the person in
Anything can
Kiev
happen.
decided not to leave
Right.
and take the boy out to meet me closer to Romania because his brother just died in a firefight against the Russian separatists, and he was afraid. And so I'm going there with no plan, nothing ready, just trying to figure out if I could talk with people. And at that point, I get the call and he tells me, and I said, okay, thank you for the information. I contact the owner of the company, Mark, and I told him, Mark, I'm going across. I explained to him. I remember him calling me. I contacted via text, and he called me up. And he says, Tony, you sure you want to do this? And I said, I have to. There's no other choice.
Right.
And so all I was concentrating on was what I need to do, the mission. And there's always fear in everything I've done. There's been fear. Now, what I've learned is fear could do two things.
Yeah.
It could hold you back,
Right.
or you can harness that fear to create more clarity in what you're trying to do. And there's a fine line.
Right.
And a lot of people look at fear as a negative thing.
Right.
But you got to look at fear as a positive thing, because what fear is telling you is to be more aware of what's going on. It's not telling you to stop.
Right.
It's telling you be aware of what's going on.
Right. It's a conscious effort.
It's a conscious effort.
Right.
And that's something that I tell a lot of people. Don't be afraid of fear. It's always going to be there.
Now, take us, bringing that conscious effort. Was there any point in time when you met or supported Timur through the whole journey of getting him out there, ever felt this is not doable? What does that fear feel like?
I don't think there was a moment where it didn't feel doable.
Yeah.
There was a moment when I actually got Timur. And the way
Before I even have that, when you met Timur, to back us up, was there anything he said, the first thing he said, or what did you feel? Because that is a personal moment.
It is a very personal moment. And I was in contact with Timur going along the way, kind of getting, talking with him, updates, and so on. When I finally got to him,
Yeah,
it was a sense of relief. And he was a kid.
of course.
The
Only
gravity
15.
really didn't hit him.
Yeah,
And so, but for me, it was a relief that now I have him.
yeah.
But then the weight of now I have a precious life that I need to protect. Me going there, it was just me. It was just, okay, if something happens, I'll fight through this. I'll make it through. Things happen. I got through those things
Right.
because it was just me.
Yeah.
Now I'm responsible for another life,
Yeah.
a precious life, and
Yeah.
the family the mom and the dad gave me the honor and trusted me so much to put their son's life in my hands, to move him through battle lines.
Imagine.
And so the weight of all that, and I've done so many operations where I went and did things to fight against terrorism across this globe. And, I worked with my team and we did missions that were, we were separated because we knew that we were protecting lives, but you didn't see the life that you were protecting right in front of you.
Yeah.
So it was less pressure, but when you in that moment and you have this precious life and everyone you've been talking with the parents and they're having tears and are worried and you could feel their emotions on the phone when you're talking with them. The weight of that is unbelievable.
Absolutely.
And I could tell you that fear increased, that doubt, the moment I got to him was, now I'm here, what am I going to do? Because I had no exit plan. Yeah. I had no plan going in, I had no plan coming out. And so me going in, all right, it's fine, I can adapt. Me coming out with this child that doesn't know what's really going on, has no training in any of these things, and I have no plan.
Right, but you're leaving it on instincts and your experience as well as faith.
And that is the biggest driver, was the faith portion.
Yeah.
That somehow through that, when I had him, that no matter what, everything was going to be all right. There was this underlining feeling inside that
absolutely.
It will be fine. Just keep pushing.
Right. When you met or had the first call, there was a quote in the book that really resonated to me. It was, I don't see a passport. I didn't see a passport. I saw a child who needed hope.
Yeah.
And it struck to me just because, when you're calling these his parents, you're also thinking about your own child.
Yeah.
Of how, if your own children were going through this, what would it feel like?
Yeah.
Yeah, and to me, that's powerful.
And that's, I put myself in their shoes.
That's it.
And what I felt was if at that moment in time, knowing about this kid and hearing the father's plea, which if you hear a parent's plea for help, it is the most real. And I've never had that. In all my years, everything I did was abstract, away from the actual reality of the people I'm helping.
Yeah.
I never had a parent's plea for help.
I mean, you didn't, in your other previous experience, you didn't have an attachment per se. So you were always distant. This is the first time you had close attachment in conversations. That's why it felt personal journey to you.
It did. And then I empathize, and then with what they're going through, because I understand that the love of a parent to get their child out, especially in a war zone.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, and I gave a little prayers, and I said to myself, God, if everything you've given me in life, and you blessed me with so much, and you've had me along this path, is this what my destiny is, to do this? Are you with me? And this feeling just overwhelmed me, this warmth inside of just, yes, this is right. Even though I had no answers, this was right. And a lot of people, my colleagues, especially Mark, I talked about, didn't really understand. And, he actually drove me to the airport. And I could feel his worry, his fear.
The silence.
And the look as if, is this the last time I'm going to see you? And then when I got out, the man hug he gave me was like, it was
powerful.
Never anything I experienced with him. And I consider him a brother. Yeah. But it was that, is this the last time? Yeah. And for me, and I'm sure it's the hardest thing for a person that cares about another person to see this and feeling like, what is he doing? The emotions and everything they went through. but for me, I always felt that it's fine. Everything's gonna be good. And I joke and I use humor in the book. I talk about humor to lower down the
Yeah,
temperature.
yeah.
And I joked and I said, hey, I think I told him, Mark, if anything happens, I'll just call you. Come rescue me. Even though he had no tactical experience or anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I try to bring lightheartedness into
Yeah.
hard situations
Yeah.
because you can't dwell on these things.
Yeah, you can. No, you can't. So there's, when we are talking about, is there a moment during your journey with Timur that there were some fun moments, or you try to relieve some anxiety? Give us some highlights in how you were able to manage with Timur and the close bond that you created. Yeah. I think that would help us to understand this man, the father in you and the protector in you.
So he's amazing kid, very talented. I could say that his talents and artistic talents are unreal.
Right.
So Timur, I was up the whole time. And normally when you do these things, you have at least another person, so you can sleep and another person stays up.
I know. I was shocked.
Over 90 hours.
90 hours.
90 hours up. So I knew at a certain point, if I try to take a nap, even going out there, if I try to take a nap, I was going to pass out and I probably won't wake up.
Yeah.
Timur, and he wasn't set to go. He had his luggage like he's going on a plane. So he had a roller bag and everything, and I'm looking when I got him.
Poor thing.
Like, this is a war zone, and you have a roller bag.
And he has no idea.
Bags, and he's just like he's hopping on a plane,
Bless his
But
heart.
when we got to the hotel, he was big into tea, and he had his own tea set. So he opens his bag and he asked me, "Would you like me to make you tea?" And I was like, "Well, that is so nice of you." And I took some tea because I was trying to stay up. But he carried a tea set, and I said, "Do you carry a tea set everywhere?" Like, he had a teapot, everything to make tea. It was an amazing thing, and I use that as humor with that, to ask him those questions because it was amazing, and we also did in the book. There's a picture of him drawing himself.
It's so cute.
In the small hotel. That's actually what it's called, room 702.
Wow.
So we took time to do these things, playful things, but at the end, for me, I'm thinking, okay, what am I doing? What are we doing? Because I still having to figure out how we're going to get to the next step and out. But for him, it was just kind of relaxed. I kept him that way. I didn't want him to worry.
So let's go to now. You've served, you've supported, you've helped. Let's talk a little bit about beyond the uniform.
Yes.
And the mission didn't end when you left the field, right? It just sort of changed.
Yes.
And so how has your journey in this heroism evolved? Because you're still supporting and evolving, but your mindset is the same in that you're always going to help those who are in need. So give us a bit of understanding what you do outside of the uniform now.
Well, right now, I there's a lot of things I try to do. One is try to help the community as much as possible. And in 2023, unsuccessfully, I ran for school board with the whole hope to keep our kids safe.
Right.
We were not successful. None of us were. We're a very, very hard district. But from that, I started meeting people that were longing for true leadership, leadership that empathizes, leadership that's willing to serve. And reluctantly, I decided to, at first reluctantly, decided that we would run for Congress in the 8th District in Virginia. And it's really based upon what's happening with the people. And what I found was, God's put me in a position, He's blessed me, to be able to have the time to do these things. And He's also had me along a path that is not unique to people, but actually will resonate with a lot of people that are going through certain things. A path to serve. And so, what we're missing, especially in our government, is true leadership. We're seeing it right now, a lack of true leadership, a lack of empathy, sitting there. And what I want to bring is true leadership to help the community, not myself. And I actually told people, people that are on my campaign, especially my campaign manager, that this campaign is not to boast me out, to do anything. I've achieved everything I could have ever imagined in life. There's nothing more I need.
And you have.
I don't need recognition. I just don't need it. I don't strive for those things. But this is about helping the people. When I look at people and their issues are going through, especially in the minority community and especially the low-income community and what they're going through, and seeing the lack of any resources, true path forward, and also the lack of believing in themselves to be able to achieve. I want to bring that hope back.
Absolutely. And while we were thinking about this, you are a hope to many, but also a hope to the veterans, that they can actually find this type of light the way you did in serving the community.
Yes.
Because many seem to get lost in what they can do and what they cannot.
Yeah.
So you are not just a guide for the community and serving your purpose, but as well as a leader per se for those who are just coming out of the service. Wouldn't you say?
I agree. We have a lot of service members that we lose a lot to PTSD.
Absolutely.
And I'll be lying if I said I didn't suffer from PTSD. We all suffer.
We all do,
We go to these areas. We deal with things that normal people don't even see. They see in movies. It's gonna play on you. And what happens with a lot of veterans is, they're suffering this PTSD. They move out from servitude, and they move into a situation where they're lost.
Yeah.
And then the PTSD, the thoughts, the remembrance of what happened starts filtering in. And it leads to bad things. It leads to heavy drinking. It leads to drugs. And ultimately, the worst thing that could ever happen, it leads to suicide. And what we got to do for a lot of these veterans, and I've worked with some veterans that I know, is to give them that purpose, to drive them towards finding new meaning in their life.
Yeah.
And addiction is nothing more than trying to cope. It's a coping mechanism.
Exactly.
And so to give them something else to strive for, to believe in, it helps with the PTSD. And that's what we need to do. We need more veterans to come into the schools, to become teachers. We need more veterans to come into local government. These people serve. They're patriots.
Absolutely.
And they want to serve again. We just have to find an outlet for them.
And I think you would be a great asset for them. From what I've seen personally, your journey, and how easy you make it look. I know it's tough given what you have gone through, but you're always pushing through. So give us a little bit, close it out with us in terms of what fear feels like and how we can all push ourselves through that fear, and because I know we discussed a lot on that aspect, but you've gone through the entire cycle, and I wanted the audience to understand where you've come from and what you're doing now. But that fear is always in us, right?
Yes.
It's always driving there, a little voice in us, our inner critic, that keeps pushing us back and not allowing us to be what our full potential is. But you proved it. So give us that hope to others that, how did you do it? What helps you to guide you through that?
I will tell you this. So fear, I found, is a double-edged sword for me personally. The insecurities that I had of myself, even though I put a veil, a mask of perfection on the outside, inside, torn up inside from childhood all the way through. And so it was a double-edged sword where I kept pushing myself to prove to myself, the inner voices, that I am worthy. But every single time, every accomplishment, the voices came louder and louder and louder. And so this fear that I had was a positive portion until it got to a certain point where there was nothing more I could do to silence that. And that's where I had my personal faith in salvation. I found my Savior, my God, and I built that faith that these voices started going down, and now the fear that I had became the strength to push me through certain things. That's because huge. Faith was driving everything, not fear. And so when we talk about this, and I talk about with other people that are going through issues, insecurities, worried about the world, have that worry.
Yeah, for sure.
Please have that worry. Don't let it overcome you.
Yeah.
But have that faith.
Because being worried is actually a good thing. It brings it to light.
Yes.
It's conscious effort to say, what solutions can we drive through that? What's the strategy behind this? Right?
It helps you focus.
It helps you to focus.
But have that faith that no matter what, you're going to get through this time. And there's there's sayings that goes out there. One that that saying that really stuck with me, and it comes from Charlie Kirk, who does an amazing thing. His life was cut too early. Was this? This too shall pass. This time, this storm you're going through, this too shall pass.
Yeah, and that's huge.
And you just got to remember, have faith in the process.
See, there was one quote, I want to end with that, and then I want to give the audience a little bit about you, is the rock bottom isn't the end.
No.
It's the ground God builds you back up from.
Yes.
And that helps you to overcome always that fear that you have in you, wouldn't you say? I mean, it's your quote.
That's how I feel. You will always hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
You will always hit. It's how you rise.
Right.
And that faith will rise you up. He's always with you. Your faith is always with you. And it doesn't matter if it's a Christian faith, if it's a Buddhist faith, if it's a Muslim faith.
Or a spiritual.
Or a spiritual faith.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter as long as that faith is there, that you can rise up.
Absolutely.
And it's within you. It sits within you.
Thank you. And so, Tony, you are running for election, as you mentioned earlier, in 2026. Can you give us a bit of an insight in how we can all reach out to you?
Definitely. I will say this. Go to my website, Sabio for Congress. That's FOR Congress.com.
Okay.
You can learn about some policies that we're going to be pushing out and some bills that we're going to push out for the economy and energy. You can also go on my X, Tony_Sabio. I'm constantly on there talking about the current issues.
Right.
And we have some major issues that are happening. And I use my X as a place to just bring information out.
Right.
And share information. So those are two areas.
And we're rooting for you.
Thank you so much.
And I think you'd be a great individual and a great force of light. So thank you. I can't wait. And with that, I just wanted to say that for everyone watching, maybe your battlefield isn't Kyiv. Maybe it's your home, your health, your relationships. What border of fear could you cross today for someone else, as Tony did? And borders divided nations, but courage unites humanity. We all can learn that from our friend here, Tony. And today we learned that light doesn't need permission to cross a line. It just needs someone willing to move. And that Tony has served in every angle, from the uniform to now running in elections. So thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
For stepping into the dark so others could live in the light.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us, the Raz Patel Show.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.